I wake up to the sound of my alarm, its persistent buzz dragging me out of a restless sleep. It's a typical Monday morning, and I find myself feeling unusually on edge. Lately, there's been a tension at home that I can't quite put my finger on, a stress that lingers in the air like an unsolvable riddle. But, like any other day, I push it aside as I go through my morning routine. Work is a distraction, a place where I can bury myself in tasks and meetings, pretending that everything is okay. But today is different. An unexpected lull in my schedule allows me to leave the office early, a rare occurrence that fills me with an odd mix of anticipation and dread. As I drive home, I can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. Pulling into the driveway, I notice Claire's car parked awkwardly, as if she'd hurriedly left it there without the usual care. My heart skips a beat, a vague unease washing over me. I sit in the car for a moment, contemplating. There's no reason for her to be home at this time, or at least none that she's mentioned. Gathering my thoughts, I decide to investigate quietly, a sense of caution steering my actions. I enter the house silently, the familiar scent of our home greeting me. But instead of comfort, it only heightens my unease. As I make my way towards the bedroom, I hear voices, muffled laughter and whispered conversations. The sound is jarring, and my heart sinks as I recognize Claire's voice. It's not alone. The other voice, unmistakably, belongs to her ex-boyfriend, a name I thought was relegated to the past. Anger and disbelief churn within me, a maelstrom of emotions threatening to overwhelm. But I force myself to remain composed, knowing I need evidence before I confront this betrayal. My hands shake as I pull out my phone, quietly recording what I can from the hallway. Each laugh, each word, feels like a dagger to my heart, but I remain silent, determined to gather the truth even as it devastates me. After what feels like an eternity, I stop the recording and turn away from the door. I feel numb, my mind swirling with thoughts of betrayal, hurt, and confusion. I leave the house as quietly as I entered, needing space to think, to breathe. My feet carry me away, but my thoughts remain ensnared within those walls, consumed by what I've discovered. Outside, the sky is beginning to darken, mirroring the turmoil within me. I walk aimlessly, trying to process what this means, what I should do next. I want to scream, to confront Claire and demand answers. Yet a part of me knows I need a plan, a way to approach this with clarity, not rage. As I wander through our neighborhood, memories of happier times flood my mind, bittersweet reminders of what I once thought was unshakable. Eventually, I find myself sitting on a park bench, the cool evening air whispering around me. I know I can't avoid this situation forever. I need to address it head-on, for my peace of mind, for my dignity. As the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, I make a vow to myself. I won't let this betrayal define me or dictate my future. I'll confront Claire and deal with whatever comes, facing the situation with the resilience I know I possess. The journey ahead seems daunting, but I have to believe it's one I can navigate. The discovery of betrayal is a bitter pill to swallow, but it's only the beginning of a journey towards something new. And as I sit there, under the vast expanse of the universe, I find a small flicker of hope within the chaos, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is a path forward. Sitting in the quiet solitude of my living room, I felt the weight of the impending confrontation bearing down on me. The evidence I'd gathered sat heavily on my mind, the recording playing over and over in my head. As the minutes ticked by, each second felt like an eternity. I tried to gather my thoughts, to sift through the swirling emotions of anger, betrayal, and sadness that clouded my mind. I knew I had to confront Claire, and I wanted to approach it with as much composure as I could muster, despite the storm raging within me. The familiar sound of Claire's car pulling into the driveway jolted me from my thoughts. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the conversation to come. The door opened, and she walked in, her demeanor carefree, as if nothing had happened. Her laughter filled the space, echoing the betrayal that had shattered my trust. She greeted me with a smile, and for a moment, I hesitated, overwhelmed by the stark contrast between her perceived normalcy and the truth I now knew. But I couldn't delay the inevitable. I stood up, facing her, and before I lost my nerve, I told her we needed to talk. Confusion flickered in her eyes, quickly replaced by a guarded look. I took out my phone, playing the recording. The room filled with the sound of their laughter, a sound that cut through the air like a knife. Her expression shifted from confusion to shock, silence hanging heavy between us. I watched as realization dawned on her, her defenses crumbling in the face of undeniable truth. Claire attempted to explain, her words a tangled mess of apologies and justifications, but I held up a hand to stop her. I told her I didn't want excuses or explanations. The damage was done, and no amount of words could erase the betrayal I'd witnessed. With a calmness that surprised even me, I declared my intention to file for divorce. The decision that had been forming since the moment I'd walked out of our house now crystallized into reality. Her eyes brimmed with tears, a mix of regret and desperation. But I stood firm, knowing that I needed to protect myself. A part of me wanted to understand, to find some semblance of closure, but I realized that her betrayal had already altered the fabric of our relationship beyond repair. I couldn't pretend that things could ever return to what they once were. I told her I needed time, space to think clearly, away from the chaos of emotions that threatened to engulf me. Her pleas faded into the background as I stepped outside, needing the cool night air to ground me. As I walked down the street, leaving our shared life momentarily behind, I was acutely aware of the finality of my decision. Every step felt heavy, laden with the weight of shattered dreams and broken promises. Reaching the park, I sat on a bench, the darkness enveloping me in its comforting embrace. I let the tears fall freely, allowing myself to feel the full extent of my heartbreak. Yet amidst the sorrow, a calm determination settled within me. I couldn't allow this betrayal to define me. I had to move forward, to rebuild and find strength in the face of adversity. The path wasn't clear yet, but I felt a flicker of resolve ignite within me. I knew it wouldn't be easy, that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges and moments of doubt. But as I sat there, gazing up at the stars, I found solace in the realization that I was capable of facing whatever lay ahead. This moment of betrayal, though painful, was but a chapter in my life, and I had the power to write the chapters that would follow. With renewed determination, I stood up, feeling the weight slowly lift from my shoulders. I walked back towards my house, each step fueled by the knowledge that I could navigate this, that I could find a way to heal and move forward. As I reached my doorstep, I took a deep breath, ready to face the reality of the situation and take the first step towards reclaiming my life. I sat in the attorney's office, the sterile scent of paper and ink mixing with the tension in the air. It was surreal, being here, discussing the dissection of a life I once cherished with another person. The word divorce felt heavy on my tongue, a notion I had never imagined contemplating, let alone executing. Yet here I was, confronted by the harsh reality of a future I'd never planned. The attorney was methodical, explaining the intricacies of the process with a calculated calmness. Asset division, custody arrangements, each concept felt like a jab, prodding at wounds not yet healed. I nodded at the right moments, but my mind drifted, overwhelmed by memories of what once was. Claire and I had built a life together, a home filled with shared dreams and laughter. Now those memories felt tainted, overshadowed by the betrayal that had brought me here. As the attorney continued, I caught glimpses of the person I used to be reflected in the polished surfaces around me. Hopeful, trusting, resilient, qualities I wondered if I still possessed. The divorce process laid bare our life, reducing it to a series of legal discussions and decisions. It felt clinical, devoid of the emotions that had once colored our relationship. Yet amidst the turmoil, a part of me clung to the promise of healing. I reminded myself that this chapter, however painful, was necessary for my growth, for my peace. I couldn't let bitterness consume me, not if I wanted to reclaim my life. After the meeting, I stepped outside into the bustling city, the noise and chaos a stark contrast to the quiet interior of the attorney's office. I walked through the streets aimlessly, each step punctuated by thoughts of what could have been. But I knew I couldn't dwell on the past. The future awaited, and I had to face it with the strength I knew I possessed. I found solace in the small moments of the day, a smile exchanged with a stranger, the warmth of the sun on my skin. They reminded me that life continued, even when it felt like mine had come to a halt. I couldn't allow the past to dictate my present, not when there were still opportunities for joy and fulfillment waiting to be discovered. As the days passed, I focused on healing, on finding ways to move forward. I immersed myself in activities that brought me peace, whether it was a walk in the park or the comfort of a good book. I allowed myself to feel, to grieve the loss of something once cherished. It was a cathartic process, one that required patience and resilience. But amidst the emotional turmoil, I found moments of clarity. I realized that this journey, though challenging, was also an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. I could define my future, shape it into something meaningful and true to who I was. I couldn't change what had happened, but I could choose how I responded, how I rebuilt and moved forward. As I navigated the complexities of divorce, I also sought to mend the parts of myself that felt broken. I reconnected with old passions, allowing them to guide me towards new possibilities. I found strength in vulnerability, in embracing the pain as a gateway to healing. And slowly, the fog began to lift. I saw glimpses of a future where I could thrive, unburdened by the weight of betrayal. It wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to face it with courage and hope. As I walked through the city, I felt a sense of liberation, an awareness that I was on the path to reclaiming my life. The journey ahead was still uncertain, but I was ready to embrace it fully, to explore the possibilities it held. And as I navigated this new chapter, I carried with me the lessons of the past, using them to guide me towards a brighter, more fulfilling future. The gentle thrum of the car engine fades as I pull up to the cabin, a rustic retreat nestled amidst towering pines and the soft whisper of nature. Here, away from the cacophony of city life and the chaos of recent events, I seek the solace my soul has been yearning for. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine needles and earth, a stark contrast to the sterile city air. This place, owned by my family for generations, holds memories of simpler times, times I now long to reclaim. Inside, the cabin is as familiar as I remember it. Wooden beams, the crackle of an old fireplace, and the quiet comfort of solitude. I set my bags down, the weight of them matching the emotional baggage I've carried with me. The silence is almost deafening, amplifying the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions I've tried to suppress. But here, alone, there is no need for pretense, no facade to maintain. It's just me, the echoes of my past, and the potential for healing. As I settle in, the cabin offers a sanctuary for introspection, a space where I can confront my pain without judgment. I sit by the window, watching as a gentle breeze rustles through the trees, their branches swaying in a graceful dance. Memories flood my mind, some cherished, others tainted by recent revelations. I allow myself to feel each one, letting the emotions wash over me like waves, hoping they'll cleanse my spirit in the process. The solitude is both daunting and liberating, forcing me to face the memories and realities I've tried to bury. Each day, I walk through the forest trails, the rhythmic crunch of leaves underfoot grounding me. I lose myself in the beauty of nature, the sunlight filtering through the canopy, casting dappled shadows on the path. The simplicity of it all is a balm to my wounded heart, a reminder that life holds beauty even in its darkest moments. In this retreat, I rediscover passions long forgotten, like writing. The pen feels foreign yet familiar in my hand as I begin to jot down my thoughts, each word a step towards understanding and healing. Writing becomes my therapy, a way to articulate the chaos within me into something tangible, something I can confront and, eventually, let go of. Each page is a testament to my resilience, fragments of a story that is still being written. Nature's embrace brings unexpected clarity, its tranquil presence urging me to look forward, to dream anew. I find myself smiling at the little things, a bird's song, the rustle of leaves, the way the light dances across the lake at sunset. These moments remind me of life's simple joys, the ones I'd overlooked amidst the turmoil of betrayal and heartache. Days turn into nights, and with each passing moment, I feel the fog of despair lifting slightly. I'm not healed, not yet, but I'm closer to acceptance, understanding that this pain is a part of my journey, not the entirety of it. The cabin holds space for my grief, but it also nurtures my hope, planting seeds for a future where I can thrive once more. As my time at the cabin nears its end, I feel a shift within me, a subtle yet profound transformation. I am not the same person who walked through its doors. I am stronger, more aware of my vulnerabilities, yet empowered by the knowledge that I can withstand life's trials and emerge with my spirit intact. Packing my things, I take one last look at the place that has been my refuge, my sanctuary. I feel a pang of sorrow leaving, yet I am armed with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to face the world with the lessons I've gathered here. The cabin has given me the space to heal, to reconnect with myself and my passions. And as I step away, I carry with me the peace it has bestowed, a quiet strength that will guide me on the journey ahead. This chapter of solitude has been a turning point, a necessary pause in the chaos of life to find clarity and direction. I leave with a heart that's still mending, but filled with hope, ready to embrace the unknown, ready to reclaim my narrative and shape it into something new, something true. Returning to the city after my retreat at the cabin, I found myself craving connections I had neglected. The solitude had given me space to heal, but now I felt the pull of companionship, the desire to reach out to those who had been by my side before life took its unexpected turn. It was time to reconnect with the friends I'd distanced myself from during the turbulent times of my marriage. I picked up the phone and called Mark, my best friend since college. His voice, warm and familiar, was a balm for my soul. We arranged to meet at our favorite cafe, a place that had witnessed countless laughs and shared secrets over the years. As I walked through the bustling city streets, I felt a sense of anticipation mixed with trepidation. Would things be the same? How much had I changed? Arriving at the cafe, I saw Mark waiting by our usual spot. As we hugged, I realized how much I'd missed this connection, the ease of being with someone who knew me so well. We settled into our chairs, and just like that, the years of distance seemed to melt away. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, a dance of memories and shared stories. Mark's laughter was infectious, and I found myself genuinely smiling and laughing for the first time in what felt like forever. We talked about everything: our careers, our dreams, and yes, even my recent struggles. I was hesitant at first, afraid of judgment or pity, but Mark listened with empathy and understanding. There was no need for pretense here. I could be vulnerable, knowing my friend would support me unconditionally. Through these moments, I began to rediscover parts of myself I'd set aside during my marriage. Mark reminded me of who I was before the constraints of a relationship that ultimately faltered. He encouraged me to embrace the freedom I now had, to explore new opportunities and passions. His unwavering support was a lifeline, an anchor in the storm of emotions I was navigating. In the days that followed, I reached out to other friends as well. Each reunion was a reminder of the strong support network I had, one that had always been there, waiting patiently for me to return. These friends became my pillars, offering advice, laughter, and a sense of belonging I'd sorely missed. Together, we shared meals, stories, and dreams, each interaction reinforcing the bonds that had somehow stood the test of time and distance. With their encouragement, I began to heal emotionally. I realized that I wasn't alone in this journey, that I had people who cared deeply for me, who wanted to see me thrive. They helped me to see that the broken pieces of my life could be mended, that I could emerge from this experience stronger and more resilient. As I spent more time with these cherished friends, I felt a shift within me. The social life I'd once enjoyed began to blossom anew, each interaction adding a layer of confidence and joy to my days. I was rebuilding not just my life, but also the connections that enriched it. The laughter and camaraderie were like rays of sunlight breaking through the clouded skies of my recent past. One evening, as Mark and I sat on a rooftop overlooking the city, I paused to take in the view. The lights twinkled like stars, each one a reminder that life was full of possibilities, of new beginnings. I turned to Mark and thanked him, not just for being there for me now, but for always being a part of my life's journey. His response was simple, a smile and a knowing nod, a silent acknowledgement of our unbreakable bond. I knew that the road ahead was still uncertain, but with friends like Mark by my side, I felt equipped to face whatever challenges came my way. Their presence was a testament to the power of friendship, a reminder that even in the darkest times, we have the strength to find light through the connections we cherish. In this chapter of my life, I was learning to appreciate the beauty of true friendship, to lean on the people who stood by me when everything else seemed to fall apart. I felt grateful not only for the support but for the journey that had brought me back to them, to myself. Reconnecting with my friends was more than just rekindling old bonds. It was about finding my way back to who I truly was, discovering the resilience and strength within me, fortified by the love and laughter we shared. As I embraced this newfound sense of community, I realized that I was never truly alone, and for that, I was deeply thankful. Returning from the solitude of the cabin, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and a desire to explore the unknown dimensions of my life. The betrayal I had endured was still a tender wound, healing slowly, but it left me with a craving for change, for opportunities that aligned with the person I was becoming. I realized that to truly move forward, I needed to embrace the potential for personal and professional growth. Sitting at my kitchen table, I pored over emails, one of which caught my eye, a job offer that promised travel and adventure. It was from a company I'd admired for years, known for its commitment to innovation and creativity. The opportunity seemed almost serendipitous, arriving at a time when I was seeking direction and purpose beyond the remnants of my past life. As I read the details of the offer, excitement bubbled within me. The position would require not just professional skills, but also a willingness to step out of my comfort zone, to experience the world in ways I'd only dreamed of. The notion of traveling, meeting new people, and immersing myself in diverse cultures was invigorating. It aligned perfectly with my newfound desire for change, for a life that wasn't limited by my past. But there was more to this journey than just a career shift. The time at the cabin had rekindled my passion for writing, and I wondered if perhaps my experiences, the pain, the healing, the rediscovery, might resonate with others. I envisioned a book, a collection of thoughts and stories that could offer solace to those facing similar struggles. The idea of putting pen to paper and sharing my journey was daunting yet exhilarating, a challenge I was eager to embrace. Encouragement came from unexpected sources. Friends, old and new, supported my aspirations, urging me to pursue my dreams with vigor. Their belief in me was empowering, a reminder that I was capable of reshaping my future and writing a new chapter defined by my passions and aspirations. Inspired by their words and the possibilities that lay before me, I decided to delve deeper into another interest I'd long set aside, photography. Capturing moments through a lens allowed me to see the world from unique perspectives, to appreciate the nuances of everyday life that often went unnoticed. It was a form of expression that complemented my writing, a visual diary that encapsulated my journey toward healing and self-discovery. With a camera in hand, I roamed the city, photographing everything from bustling street scenes to quiet moments of reflection in nature. Each click of the shutter was an affirmation of life's beauty, a testament to my renewed sense of purpose. Photography became a bridge between my past and my future, a way to document the growth and change I was experiencing. As these new opportunities unfolded, I felt a shift within me, a sense of empowerment and autonomy that had been missing for far too long. I was no longer defined by the betrayal or the heartache. Instead, I was defined by my resilience, my willingness to embrace change and pursue the life I envisioned for myself. The decision to accept the job offer was not made lightly, but the support from friends and the rekindled passions within me made it clear that this was the right path. It was an adventure in every sense, a chance to redefine my life and explore the world with an open heart and mind. As I prepared to embark on this new journey, I felt a profound gratitude for the people who had supported me, for the passions that had reignited within me, and for the strength I had discovered along the way. This chapter was not just about embracing new opportunities. It was about embracing myself, my dreams, and the endless possibilities that awaited. Stepping into the unknown was both terrifying and thrilling, but I was ready. Ready to live boldly, to capture life through words and images, to connect with others and share my story. This was my moment, a turning point in my journey, and I embraced it with open arms and a hopeful heart. For a while, my life felt like a series of monochrome moments, devoid of the vibrancy and warmth I'd once cherished. After the tumultuous events of recent months, I was slowly piecing myself back together, finding solace in writing and photography, and an unexpected connection emerged from the shadows of my newfound hobbies. It all started in a photography class I signed up for. It was a decision made on a whim, a desire to see the world through fresh eyes and capture the fleeting beauty of everyday life. On the first day, as I settled into my seat, surrounded by strangers equally eager to learn, I had no idea that one of those strangers would become a key part of my healing journey. Emma. Her name was like a melody, and from the very beginning, there was something about her that drew me in. Perhaps it was her laughter, light and infectious, cutting through the quiet hum of concentration as we fiddled with our cameras. Or maybe it was the way she seemed genuinely curious about everyone around her, asking questions with a warmth that made you feel seen and heard. We were paired together for a class project, tasked with capturing the essence of the city through our lenses. It was during those early hours, wandering through bustling streets and hidden alleyways, that I discovered the depth of our connection. Emma had a way of finding beauty in the mundane, capturing moments that, in my eyes, seemed ordinary yet turned extraordinary through her perspective. As we roamed the city, our conversations flowed effortlessly, covering everything from photography techniques to our favorite books and the dreams we harbored in the quiet corners of our minds. She was candid about her own challenges, her journey through life's ups and downs, and I found comfort in the shared vulnerability, a reminder that I was not alone in my struggles. Emma's presence in my life was like a gentle balm, soothing the raw edges of my heart. She listened without judgment, offered advice without presumption, and most importantly, she understood. She understood the pain of betrayal and the arduous path to healing because she, too, had walked a similar road. It was this shared understanding that deepened our bond, building a foundation of trust and compassion that was both unexpected and welcomed. The more time we spent together, the more I realized how much I valued our connection. Emma had a way of making me feel alive again, of reigniting a joy within me that I thought was lost forever. Her laughter, her kindness, her unwavering support, they all played a part in my journey of self-discovery and renewal. There was a particular evening, cloaked in the soft glow of twilight, when we sat on a park bench after a full day of photography. Our cameras lay forgotten beside us as we watched the world transform under the setting sun. The conversation drifted to dreams and aspirations, and Emma spoke with a quiet confidence that was both inspiring and infectious. She asked about my writing, the book I was contemplating, and encouraged me to pursue it, to share my story with the world. Her belief in me, in my ability to turn pain into something meaningful, was a powerful motivator. In that moment, I realized that Emma was not just a friend. She was a kindred spirit, someone who understood the beauty and complexity of life in ways few others did. Our bond grew, nurtured by shared experiences and mutual respect. Emma's presence in my life gave me the courage to explore new possibilities, to open my heart to the notion of love once more. It was a slow, deliberate process, but with each day, I felt more at ease, more willing to embrace the potential for happiness. Through Emma, I learned that even after the darkest storms, there is light to be found, a chance for new beginnings and unexpected connections. Our friendship, forged through a shared love of photography and an unwavering support for one another, became a cornerstone of my healing journey. As I walked this path of renewal and discovery, I realized that Emma was more than just a fellow photographer or a kindred soul. She was a beacon of hope, a reminder that life, even after heartache, held promise and joy. In embracing this unexpected connection, I found a new dimension of myself, a version that was open to possibilities, to love, and to the endless stories waiting to unfold. Emma had become an integral part of my narrative, and with her by my side, the future seemed brighter, filled with potential and the promise of an everlasting connection. The party buzzed around me, a tapestry of familiar faces and the hum of laughter and conversation. It was one of those gatherings where everyone seemed to know everyone else, fragments of lives woven together by memories and shared histories. I'd come here seeking distraction, a brief reprieve from the whirlwind of emotions that had defined my recent months. Little did I know, a piece of my past would confront me head-on. I noticed Claire across the room almost immediately. Her presence was like a jolt, bringing with it a wave of emotions I wasn't quite prepared to face. She hadn't seen me yet, her attention absorbed in conversation with friends, her laughter a haunting echo of the life we once shared. I debated leaving, slipping out before she or anyone else noticed me, but something kept me rooted to the spot. A need for closure, perhaps, or the realization that I couldn't run from my past forever. I took a deep breath, steeling myself as I approached her. The room seemed to quiet as I drew near, the air thick with unspoken tension. Our eyes met, and for a moment we were suspended in time, caught between what was and what could have been. Her smile faltered, surprise flickering across her features before settling into something more guarded. "Hi, Jason," she said, her voice a mix of uncertainty and warmth. It was a simple greeting, yet one that spoke volumes of the distance that had grown between us. "Hi, Claire," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "Can we talk?" She nodded, and we moved to a quieter corner of the room, away from the curious glances of others. It felt surreal, standing there with her again, the person who had once been my everything, now a stranger with a shared past. Our conversation started awkwardly, the words feeling clumsy and foreign. But as we delved deeper into the memories of our relationship, the initial discomfort gave way to something more authentic, a genuine exploration of the pain and confusion that had lingered since our parting. "I'm sorry, Jason," Claire finally said, her eyes dropping to the floor. "For everything. I didn't mean to hurt you." Hearing her apology was both cathartic and bittersweet. It didn't erase the betrayal or the heartache, but it was a step towards understanding, towards releasing the resentment I had held onto for so long. "I appreciate that, Claire," I replied after a moment, my voice softer. "I never thought it would end like this, but maybe it's what we both needed to grow." Her eyes met mine, a mixture of sadness and acceptance. It was in that moment I realized that forgiveness wasn't about condoning or forgetting. It was about freeing myself from the burden of bitterness, allowing space for healing and new beginnings. Our conversation meandered through the highs and lows of our shared history, touching upon dreams that hadn't quite materialized and the lessons learned along the way. I listened with empathy as Claire shared her regrets and reflections, acknowledging the pain we both endured. As the evening wore on, the initial tension between us softened, replaced by a mutual understanding that our paths had diverged for a reason. There was no animosity, no blame, just two people seeking closure and the ability to move forward without the weight of the past tethering us. We parted with a sense of peace, a quiet recognition that though we had once been significant parts of each other's lives, our futures would unfold separately. It was liberating, this release of old wounds, allowing us both to step into the next chapters without the shadows of what once was. Leaving the party, I felt lighter, the air cool and refreshing against my skin. I had faced the past with courage, transforming the remnants of a broken relationship into a stepping stone for growth and renewal. Forgiving Claire and myself had been the final piece in my journey toward healing. As I walked under the starlit sky, I embraced the newfound freedom to define my path, unencumbered by regrets. In confronting the past, I had discovered a strength within me, ready to embrace the future with open arms and a hopeful heart. The city lights flickered in the twilight, casting a warm glow over the bustling streets below. I found myself walking hand in hand with Emma, our footsteps echoing a quiet rhythm that matched the easy cadence of our conversation. The connection we'd built over the past weeks had grown into something profound, a companionship marked by shared passions and an understanding that transcended words. As we strolled through the vibrant streets, I couldn't help but reflect on how much had changed since we first met in that photography class. Our shared interest had blossomed into more than just late-night discussions and photo walks. It had become the foundation of a meaningful relationship, something I hadn't dared to hope for after everything I'd been through. Emma had become my confidant, my partner in adventure, and the person I turned to when the world felt overwhelming. She listened without judgment, encouraged my dreams, and celebrated my victories, no matter how small. Her presence in my life had turned the grayscale existence I'd been living into one filled with color and light. Our explorations of the city were more than just physical journeys. They were adventures into the depths of our own stories and dreams. We discovered hidden cafes, quiet corners of parks, and bustling markets, each new place adding texture to the tapestry of our shared experience. We laughed over burnt coffee, debated the merits of abstract art, and shared our hopes under the canopy of a starry sky. One such night, as we sat on a rooftop overlooking the city, I found the courage to share my writing with Emma. It was a piece I'd been working on, inspired by the tumultuous journey of betrayal and healing that had led me to this point. As she read my words, I watched her expression shift from curiosity to empathy, her eyes glistening with understanding. "Jason, this is beautiful," she finally said, her voice filled with sincerity. "You have a gift for capturing emotion in a way that resonates deeply. You should definitely consider publishing this." Her words ignited a spark of confidence within me, a belief that my story was worth sharing. With Emma's encouragement, I began to see my writing not just as a cathartic exercise, but as a potential beacon for others navigating similar paths. Her support was a testament to the strength of our connection, a bond built on mutual respect and unwavering belief in each other's potential. Our relationship deepened, not just through shared passions but through the integration of our lives. Emma introduced me to her family, a warm and welcoming group who embraced me with open arms. Their acceptance solidified the bond Emma and I shared, grounding it in a community of support and love. In turn, I shared my world with Emma. She accompanied me on photography excursions, provided feedback on my writing, and became an integral part of my creative process. Together, we captured the beauty of our city, each photo a frozen moment of joy and discovery that mirrored the evolution of our relationship. Through Emma, I learned to embrace vulnerability, to open my heart to new possibilities, and to trust in the strength of a genuine connection. She became more than just a partner. She was a reflection of the person I was becoming, resilient, hopeful, and ready to embrace life with an open heart. As weeks turned into months, I realized how deeply Emma had become woven into the fabric of my existence. She was no longer just a part of my healing journey. She was a part of my future, a future that glimmered with promise and potential. One evening, as we sat on a park bench, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, I turned to Emma and knew that whatever came next, I wanted her by my side. Our journey had been unexpected, a path illuminated by shared dreams and mutual respect, and it was one I was eager to continue exploring together. In embracing this new chapter with Emma, I found not just a partner, but a reflection of the life I'd always dreamed of, a life filled with love, creativity, and connection. And as the city lights flickered to life around us, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, hand in hand, ready to embrace all that lay before us. Returning from my trip with Emma, I found myself standing on the precipice of a new beginning. The past year had been a whirlwind of emotions, challenges, and discoveries. Yet here I was, contemplating a future with a sense of excitement and hope that I hadn't felt in a long time. The journey of healing and self-discovery had brought me far, and as I prepared to finalize my divorce, I felt a weight lifting from my shoulders, as though I was finally free to embrace the unknown with open arms. Finalizing the divorce was less about severing ties and more about liberating myself from the constraints of a past that no longer defined me. It was the closing of a chapter that had taught me invaluable lessons about resilience, self-worth, and the importance of staying true to myself amidst adversity. Signing the final papers felt like releasing a deep breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding, allowing the space for new possibilities to unfurl around me. With this newfound liberation, I felt a compelling urge to share my journey with others. The idea of starting a blog had been simmering in the back of my mind, and now it seemed like the perfect time to bring it to life. Writing had been my solace, a way to process the chaos and find meaning in the experiences that had shaped me. Through sharing my story, I hope to offer a guiding light for those navigating similar paths of betrayal, healing, and renewal. The process of setting up the blog was invigorating. As I crafted the first few posts, I poured my heart into each word, recounting the nuances of my journey with honesty and vulnerability. It was both terrifying and exhilarating to open myself up to the world, but I knew that somewhere, someone might find comfort in knowing they weren't alone. My blog became a testament to the power of storytelling, a space where I could express my truth and, in doing so, connect with others on a deeper level. Reflecting on my journey, I was struck by the growth and resilience I'd cultivated over the past months. The betrayal that once felt all-consuming had become a mere footnote in the broader narrative of my life. I recognized the strength I'd developed, an ability to face challenges head-on and transform pain into purpose. This realization sparked a profound sense of empowerment, a confidence that had been absent for far too long. As I continued to write and share, the feedback I received was overwhelmingly positive. Readers reached out, sharing their own stories and expressing gratitude for the vulnerability I exhibited. This exchange of experiences became a powerful reminder that we are all interconnected, united by our struggles and triumphs, and that empathy and understanding can bridge even the widest of divides. With each day, I felt more in control of my destiny, buoyed by the knowledge that I had the power to shape my future. The prospect of embracing new opportunities filled me with anticipation. The job offer that promised travel and adventure was still on the table, and I felt drawn to the idea of exploring the world with a fresh perspective. It was an opportunity to step outside my comfort zone, to engage with diverse cultures and ideas, and to enrich my life with experiences that would fuel both my writing and photography. Emma, ever supportive and understanding, encouraged me to pursue this dream. Her unwavering belief in my potential was both humbling and inspiring, a testament to the depth of our connection. We spent evenings discussing our aspirations and dreams, imagining a future filled with exploration and creativity. Her support gave me the confidence to embrace this opportunity, knowing that it would enrich both our lives, regardless of the distance it might impose. As I packed my bags, preparing for my first travel assignment, I reflected on how far I'd come since discovering Claire's betrayal. What began as a journey of heartbreak had transformed into a path of healing and self-discovery. I was proud of the resilience I'd cultivated and grateful for the people who had supported me along the way. The unknown no longer seemed daunting. Instead, it beckoned with the promise of new beginnings, new stories, and new connections. With a final goodbye kiss from Emma, I set off on my journey, stepping onto the plane with a heart full of hope and a mind eager for adventure. The road ahead was unwritten, a canvas ready to be painted with the colors of life's myriad experiences. And as the city lights faded into the distance, I felt a profound sense of peace, knowing that I was ready to embrace whatever came next, with courage, resilience, and an open heart. The gentle hum of the airplane engine served as a soothing backdrop as I gazed out the window, watching the landscape shift from sprawling cityscapes to the patchwork of rural fields. Emma sat beside me, a comforting presence in the narrow confines of our seats, her hand resting gently on mine. This trip together felt like a symbolic step into the future, a new chapter that marked not just the progression of our relationship, but also the culmination of the transformative journey I'd been on since the dark days of betrayal and heartbreak. As we soared through the clouds, our conversation drifted toward the future. We spoke of dreams and aspirations, the kind that seemed intangible yet deliciously enticing. Emma shared her vision of opening an art gallery someday, a space where her photography and other forms of creative expression could inspire and connect people. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she described her ideas, and I felt a surge of admiration for her passion and drive. I, too, shared my own aspirations, the book I hoped to write, the stories I wanted to tell through my blog, and the profound desire to explore the world, capturing its beauty through both words and images. Emma listened intently, her encouragement a steady undercurrent that buoyed my dreams, making them feel not only possible but inevitable. Our conversations were punctuated by comfortable silences, moments where we simply existed in each other's presence, content in the knowledge that we were building a future together. Emma and I had faced our share of challenges, both individually and as a couple, but we navigated them with mutual respect and understanding. We recognized that life, with all its unpredictability, demanded adaptability and resilience from us both. The trip brought its own set of unexpected challenges. A missed connection, a misplaced reservation, little things that, in the past, might have sparked frustration or anxiety. But with Emma, these hiccups became mere blips on our adventure. We embraced each challenge with a sense of humor and teamwork, finding joy in the detours and appreciating every moment we shared. It was during these instances that I realized just how solid our partnership had become, rooted in trust and the ability to face life's unpredictability together. In between the adventures and challenges, there were quiet moments of reflection, over steaming cups of coffee in quaint cafes, or while wandering through vibrant local markets. I took in the sights, sounds, and smells of each new place, my camera capturing the essence of our travels, each photograph a testament to the beauty we found amidst the chaos of life. Through it all, Emma's presence was a beacon of light, illuminating the path ahead. Her warmth, her laughter, and her unwavering support grounded me, reminded me of how far I'd come and how much more lay ahead. I realized that I'd found someone who not only understood my journey but actively contributed to the tapestry of my life, enriching it in ways I hadn't thought possible. As our trip drew to a close, we found ourselves on a secluded beach, the waves lapping gently at the shore as the sun dipped below the horizon. The sky transformed into a kaleidoscope of colors, a fitting backdrop for the quiet contentment that settled between us. Sitting there, hand in hand, surrounded by nature's splendor, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought me here. Emma turned to me, her expression thoughtful yet serene. "Jason," she said softly, "do you ever think about what life would have been like if things hadn't turned out this way?" I pondered her question, reflecting on the path that had led me to this moment. "Honestly, I think everything happened for a reason," I replied. "It's all brought me here with you, and I wouldn't change that for anything." Her smile was like the sunrise, warm and full of promise. In that instant, I knew that whatever the future held, we would face it together, with open hearts and a shared vision for what could be. As we sat there, the world around us fading into the gentle embrace of twilight, I felt a profound sense of peace and anticipation for the chapters yet to be written. Emma and I were embarking on a new adventure, one that promised love, growth, and endless possibilities. This was the beginning of a beautiful new chapter, and I was ready to embrace it, knowing I had found someone truly special, someone who complimented me in every way and with whom I could build a future full of hope and joy. As the sun peeked over the horizon, painting the city in shades of amber and gold, I found myself standing in my living room, a suitcase open at my feet. This was the morning I'd been waiting for, the start of a new chapter that promised adventure, growth, and the opportunity to rediscover myself outside the confines of past heartaches. The air buzzed with anticipation, carrying with it the scent of fresh beginnings and untamed possibilities. Emma appeared from the kitchen, a warm smile on her face, holding 2 mugs of freshly brewed coffee. We exchanged a quick glance, the kind that spoke volumes of understanding and unspoken promises. Her presence was a reassuring constant, grounding me as I prepared to embark on what felt like the most significant journey of my life. Sipping the coffee, I let the quiet moments of the morning wash over me, a gentle reminder of how far I'd come. From the depths of betrayal to the peaks of newfound confidence, I'd navigated a path fraught with challenges, learning to embrace resilience and self-discovery along the way. And now, as I prepared to board my first travel assignment, I felt a rush of empowerment that had once seemed elusive. Emma, ever the source of encouragement and support, pulled me into a gentle embrace. "You're going to do amazing things, Jason. I have no doubt about it," she whispered, her words a balm to any lingering nerves. I smiled, feeling the weight of gratitude for her unwavering belief in me. I couldn't have come this far without you, Emma. Thank you for being my anchor. We spent the remainder of the morning in comfortable silence, savoring those last few hours before my departure. It was a moment suspended in time, where the outside world faded away, leaving only the warmth of companionship and the promise of what lay ahead. As the clock ticked closer to my departure, I finished packing, checking and double-checking my essentials. Emma watched with a mix of pride and a touch of sadness, her eyes reflecting the complexity of emotions that come with letting go, even temporarily. With everything in order, we made our way to the airport. The drive was filled with light conversation and shared memories, each moment reinforcing the connection we'd built over the past months. We spoke of plans for the future, dreams that stretched across continents and possibilities that seemed endless. It was a future I was eager to explore, knowing that Emma would always be a part of it, regardless of the miles that might separate us. Arriving at the airport, we lingered outside the terminal, reluctant to part ways just yet. The cacophony of travelers and announcements filled the air, a juxtaposition to the calm that enveloped us. I turned to Emma, taking in the familiar features that had become such an integral part of my life. "Promise you'll keep in touch?" she asked, her voice steady despite the glimmer of emotion in her eyes. "Every chance I get," I assured her, my own heart clenching at the thought of saying goodbye. "And we'll make sure to plan a trip together soon." With a final embrace, I pulled away, feeling the weight of the moment settle over me. It wasn't just a goodbye. It was a step into the unknown, toward a journey I knew would transform me in ways I couldn't yet foresee. As I made my way through security and toward the gate, I paused to look back, catching one last glimpse of Emma amidst the throng of travelers. Her wave was both a farewell and a promise, a reminder of the bond that tethered us across distances. Boarding the plane, I settled into my seat, the hum of the engines a comforting undercurrent to the excitement that thrummed through my veins. This was it, the beginning of a new adventure, a chance to explore the world and my place within it. I felt a swell of confidence and anticipation, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, I had the strength and support to face them. As the plane lifted off, I gazed out the window, watching the city shrink below me, a sprawling testament to the life I was leaving behind, if only temporarily. I knew I was stepping into uncharted territory, but with each passing mile, I embraced the journey, eager to see where it would lead. This was my opportunity to shape my destiny, to write the next chapter with intention and courage. And as the clouds enveloped the plane, I closed my eyes, ready to welcome all that the adventure promised to teach and transform. Emma's love and belief in me traveled alongside, a guiding light on this path of exploration and renewal. That's a wrap for today's journey. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. If you found this video captivating, make sure to subscribe and click on the next video that's ready for you on the screen. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.